Hello, 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 everyone. There is a transgender young adult. Now, they're now 18 years of age, but they were 12 years of age at the time that they alleged this happened. Now, the 18-year-old is they're being represented by the Center for American Liberty, and they announced its intent to sue several doctors and medical groups in California on Wednesday. And this was last week. Now, the plaintiff in the case is Chloe Cole. She's 18 or 18-year-old person. They say woman, so okay, is suing the doctor she claims coerced her into harmful gender transition procedures in the name of affirmation when she was just a child. Now, there's been a lot of controversy around transgender, and what age is appropriate for them to start transitioning, and even if they're going to have the gender reassignment surgery. So the founder and CEO of Harmeet Dillon is representing Cole alongside Charles S. Lemandry. And according to the center, Cole began suffering from gender dysphoria at just 9 years old. She told Fox News host Tucker Carlson, and most of you that follow the news know who Tucker Carlson is, that doctors began urging her to transition when she was 12. Now, by 13, she was fully immersed in the transition to manhood. Between 13 and 17, Cole began taking puberty blocking drugs, received off label sex hormone treatments, and received a double mastectomy in which both of her breasts were completely removed. Now, a legal adult, she's now a legal adult, Cole laments that I will never be able to breastfeed whatever children I will have. I don't even know if, because I was put on puberty blockers and testosterone, at only 13 years old. I don't know if I'll be able to conceive a child naturally. I made an adult decision as a child, she said. According to her, the decision to speak up is an important one. I want to hold the adults that put me in harm's way accountable because what happened to me is horrible, she claimed. But it also didn't only happen to me. That's the worst part. It's happening to children all over the U.S., all over the West, and it's spreading all over the world, Cole continued. As a result of the grossly negligent treatment that you performed, is what she's saying. Chloe has permanent, irreversible mutilation and damage to her body, particularly the female characteristics of her body, reads the notice of intent to sue that was sent to the defendants. We intend to shut down these barbaric and unnatural practices, Dillon told Carlson. Now, I want to say, with no type of, negativity towards any uh, person that chooses to live an alternative lifestyle other than what the Bible calls us, because everyone has different beliefs. And I stand on the belief of, God created man and woman, male and female, okay? And so I don't believe that anyone should be mutilating their bodies or changing their bodies based on the fact of who God created them to be. He knew you before you was formed in the womb. And this is my freedom of speech, and I'm not homophobic and all of those other things that people want to lash out with people that believe in the heterosexual being that God has created, okay? Male and female. And so I'm here to say that I do believe that as a child, that children should be children. And all of pushing all of this TG up on people and reassignment surgery, gender reassignment surgeries, um, pushing these things up on children is sinful. It's wrong, and it's dangerous, and it's harmful. I think children should be able to be children. There are children that like to play with dolls. There are children that are boys that like to play with dolls, that like to play dress up. Then there are girls that like to play with trucks and like to play sports, and they're called tomboys. And then the boys that want to play with dolls and dress up as girls are called the term, and this is no offense to anyone, but the term when I was growing up was called a sissy. So all I'm saying is that I'm not promoting, that boys should be, playing with dolls and dressing up as girls. That's not what I'm promoting. And I'm not promoting that females should play with trucks and dress up like boys. I'm not promoting that either. But we do know that there's tomboys out there. I was a girl that loved sports, and I grew up in a household of nothing but brothers and no siblings as sisters. They were all boy siblings, okay? But I'm still a female and everything, and my belief still is who I am, a female. Now, when it comes to boys, we have to make sure that boys understand who they are. And we need to talk to our children and let them know that God created them this way and that God loves them. And so we know that people do struggle going through these things. So again, there's nothing against anyone that chooses to live an alternative lifestyle. That's between you and God, or whoever your beliefs are, what you believe in. That is between you. But when it comes to children, I do believe that children should be children, and no adults or parents should be forcing their children in these roles at a young age. And this is something that's important that this young woman is saying now at the age of 18, is that she felt coerced and forced into this type of decision that was an adult decision that she made as a child. And you wonder where the parents were, and because there has to be some type of consent, and as a child, who's consenting to her making these adult decisions, or this adult decision to proceed with this type of surgery? As a child, that's a minor. And so you wonder what were the parents doing this time, and did they sign off on it? Did they consent to having this done for their child? And who are the parents of this child? Because they don't really state who the parents are. And then the doctors, we haven't heard them speak out, if they are going to speak out, or if their attorneys are going to come back and speak out on their behalf on what their side of the story is. Because remember, there's always more than one side to the story. There's always more than one side to the story. So I would be amiss, and I would be definitely wrong if I said that there was only one side of a story, and that I only wanted to lean and try to come off as if I'm leaning towards, one side. I will never do that, because we can't do that. We have to look at every aspect of these stories, no matter what story it is, and especially stories about accusations and allegations. We always need to get the other side and then if it goes to trial, we need to get the transcripts. We need to read. We need to understand. If we don't get them, maybe another channel gets them, and you read and get the information and listen to it and court notes. That's so important, so that we don't remain biased or have a biased attitude towards people in general, because we've seen people have a biased attitude towards other people that have been went through legal procedures and have been convicted. We've seen that. We've seen where people didn't go through filing a police report and things like that, and they were awarded settlements. And in a civil case, it's different from a criminal case. And so we need to get to the truth of the matter, and getting to the truth brings in all the evidence. So if we can keep an unbiased mind and be open-minded, about information that's put out here, because articles a lot of times are written one-sided, and is written to gain the sympathy and the empathy of the public, and is written to tilt the scales a lot of time, and to taint people's mind to lean a certain way. So we have to look at all aspects. So I'd like to hear from the doctors and what they're saying, and where were the parents in this at a young woman, a young girl, at the age of 12, and she's going through, surgery, a gender reassignment surgery, transitioning procedures, and all these hormone pills at a young age. When I believe that therapy could be warranted in this case as a child, putting your child in therapy, sitting down, talking to them, reaffirming that God loves them, that God created them for who they are, and God loves you just the way you are, and reaffirming positivity, in children, and being truthful to where they can understand, but reaffirming the positivity in children and letting them know who they are, and making sure they understand, the creation of who God created them to be. I believe that, because when we don't do that and we lean towards the alternative way, this is what you're going to have is more lawsuits coming out where they're going to be blaming the doctors because they feel that the doctors are the professionals, and the doctors are the experts that should be able to say, no, we're not going to do this. No, we're not. But then we also have to look at, are the doctors' hands tied? Because as soon as you say you're not going to do something, people want to sue you that's living these alternative lifestyles, want to sue you because they're now saying you're discriminating against who they are, want to be. And then, because I mean, if you go and you look at the cake baker up in Colorado, I followed that case. I even went to a actual conference about this, and it was a very good discussion. It was a panel, and I went to it along with a very good friend, and we listened to it, and it was very informative. Then you have the cake baker, in California, that just won her case victorious. And then you're looking at another woman that just came out, and she is I believe, a web creator or whatever, and so she's suing. And so when you look at these cases, if you don't go along with what they're asking for, because a lot of things is geared towards the ABC, colorful community, or whatever you want to call it, or the LGBTQ, and the laws have been passed, they are a protected class. And then you're looking at when you're looking at these laws that have been passed, and people want to label people that don't align with their same values or views, then they want to label people and call them out and say it's hate, it's hate and biasness and things like that. And it's not, because we all have a right to pursue happiness, and we have a right to believe in the values that we believe in. And if we believe something differently, it doesn't make us a hater, it doesn't make us biased, it doesn't make us a bad person or someone that's hating on another specific group. Or no, what it says is we all have a right to pursue happiness and live in this country and be able to live out our goals and our values and plans that God has for our life. And the thing is that we have to be able to, as adults, be able to be adults. And if we're not being the adults that need to teach the younger generation, then what are we doing? Because when you look at a 13-year-old that made an adult decision, where were the parents at in this whole thing? Where were they? And what were the doctor's hands tied? Because they can be sued too for not doing certain things. They can be sued. And so we want to hear from the doctors, or at least their attorneys, since the attorneys should be representing the doctors, because most doctors have attorneys, right? Because they can be sued and they have malpractice insurance. So I like to hear the other side of this, when it comes down to it. But again, as a child, I don't believe that children should be forced or made forced into adult situations or adult decisions. And where were the parents at? There has, most of the time we look at when it's a child, there has to be some type of consent. But then we got to look into, is there really some type of consent that is needed? If this, because this may be a special type of situation here, a special class when it comes down to treating, gender what's the word I'm looking for? Gender I can't even help me out here in the comments. But so is there a special class of protection for this when they are being treated by doctors, medical providers? And gender dysphoria, it's something I can't even think of the word, so I'm not even going to get into it at this moment. But anyway, all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, well, actually, let me go back, and I need to look up this word because I can't even get to it right now. But let me see what because they be saying, let me see. Yeah, dysphoria. I'm sorry. Gender dysphoria. I knew it was something, but I didn't want to say the wrong word and mislead anyone. Thank you so much for your patience on that. But gender dysphoria, and it's a term that describes a sense of unease that a person may have because of a mismatch between their biological sex and their gender identity. And this sense of unease or dissatisfaction may be so intense it can lead to depression and anxiety and have a harmful impact on daily life. So it's important for children, I think, when they're going through something like that, to get counseling, therapy, and to see how that works out for them, because it may just be a phase, it may just be a stage, and it may be that they think they have to go along with certain groups of people when they're young, because there's a lot of peer pressure out there. So all I'm saying is that we got to get back to, when it comes down to, looking at all aspects of the situation, getting both sides, or all sides, of what's going on. So I would like to hear from the doctors. Hopefully they'll come out with an update that I can also give you all on the update of what the doctors are saying, or their attorneys are speaking on their behalf about this whole situation. Where were the parents in this situation? And is this a protected class as far as when they go to the doctor? Because we know it's a protected class legally, but when they go to the doctor, how are they supposed to be treated when they go to the doctor? So how do you treat this? And and it's a good thing that they can have peer support groups, voice and communication therapy to develop vocal characteristics matching their experience or express gender. There's a lot of things that may come of this to ease the stuff that's going on with them. There's a lot, but how are they protected when they go to the doctor? And what are there any specific laws that doctors have to follow when it comes to gender dysphoria, or how they treat them? And being that she was only 13 at the time, and it started at 9 years of age, where again were the parents, and were the parents involved, her legal biological parents, custodial parents, and what do they have to say about this, as well? So there is a video with this story. I put it in the comments for you all, so that you can go and you can look up this story yourself. It came from the Washington Examiner 2 days ago, so you can actually go and look up this story yourself. There is a video with attached to it that they're talking about it. It's a short video, it's not very long. So again, leave your respectful comments below. Let me know what you think about this situation here. I believe, in my opinion, there will be more lawsuits coming, and we know that the Gabrielle and Dwayne Wade thing, and how Siobhan Funches Wade spoke out. She found her voice. She's been empowered. She's been back to school and graduated with her PhD, and she is speaking out. She is the biological parent of that child, and she has a right to speak out. And so, with that being said, she's saying no. That should be something that, if it's gonna happen, when he's 18 or older. And then you have Dwayne Wade, the biological father, trying to cap off of exploit him for money. In my opinion, exploiting for money. And we don't know Dwayne Wade's financial status anyway. We don't know what type of income or he has, or money that's sitting around. We don't know those things. So when we start putting children in a situation in harm's way, and we as parents are doing whatever to try to capitalize, exploit, groom, whatever that is, that's not right. We need to let children be children, and let them maybe go through that stage or phase, and maybe they'll grow out of it. Maybe it was just something, peer pressure, whatever. And then once they get grown and they have a right to live on their own, and pay their own bills and things like that, you probably gonna love your children anyway, regardless. But at the end of the day, children should be children, and they should not be making adult decisions. And if there's a problem with your children, please get help as a family, therapy, counseling, and even as the child, putting them in there to see where they're at, and making sure that you reaffirm that God loves them, that God loves them. They were created to be who they are. They can go on to be great in who God created them to be. It's got to be a lot of positivity going on, because if we allow children to make adult decisions, you are going to see a lot of these lawsuits coming up. And this is what happened in this particular case. So again, please leave your comments below. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. For all of you that have subscribed, thank you very much. And even to my new subscribers, please leave your respectful comments below. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research, and even for you to comment. What are your views, your smart views on this? And then fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. And if you want to support the channel, the information is in the description box. But God bless you all on today, and I will be back with you with more articles, and some are very controversial. Bye.